My own personal theory is most people are selfish. I did have to come up with a personal theory before this class, so I am very aware of my own personal theory, and I have had different life experiences that have shaped this. I witnessed throughout my life coworkers of mine put themselves before clients, and I also grew up in a city, and in my experience, people in cities tend to look out for themselves more. However, selfishness doesn't always have to be negative. It can be a positive as well, as I've watched numerous of my friends prioritize their education and well-being before their work or personal life. I do notice my personal theory affecting my work, as I do notice that I prioritize my own work and my workload over other people or helping out other people. And I do notice also that I try to bring 100% to the job, and I prioritize my job performance and well-being first. In the context of helping out other people, there are a few examples that exemplify selfishness. I recognize moments where I have to put myself over the workload and other residents for my mental health. I also notice that if I don't have time to help out someone, I won't always help them out because I don't. It's not always something that I'd be able to do, as it infringes upon my own personal time. And now it takes 2 seconds to open up a door, but if I don't have time to do it, I won't always do it. I often will turn the other way. And this is an example of how I'm being selfish with my time in the context of helping out someone else, as I'm not taking the time to do that. In society, we often will put our needs and desires first before other people's. And we often will learn this behavior through watching television shows, our parents and celebrities and friends' practices. We watch our friends prioritize our mental health, we see celebrities bragging about their lifestyle, and we see parents may not always considering their child's feelings or showing a lack of empathy. Being around this behavior has the potential to impact the children's overall development. As explained by Albert Bandera, we often learn behaviors from our environment. Therefore, witnessing these behaviors growing up can cause an individual to become selfish, or cause them, in theory, it could impact their overall development. I do believe people can change, and we all want the best for ourselves. Personally, throughout my life, I have changed tremendously, and I've witnessed people around me change for the better. I believe an external factor caused an internal change, and I also believe the psychosocial model of development by Erik Erikson helped to support this theory that we're constantly changing and evolving throughout the course of our life. For instance, I'm not the same person I was when I was 16, and I'm not the same person I was when I was 3. Therefore, supporting the idea that throughout these 8 stages of development, we are constantly changing and evolving. When I was younger, I was told I was overweight and I had to lose weight or I could have health issues. I was devastated, but through diet and exercise, I was able to change my lifestyle and become active for my health. I decided to change based on what my doctor told me, and this is an example of an external factor causing an internal change. My dad is an alcoholic. We've had to have interventions before in the past for him. In the hopes of these interventions is that he will change his lifestyle. As a family, we will come together and try to convince him to change his lifestyle. And fortunately, through these interventions or these confrontations, he is able to limit his drinking and change his lifestyle. And this is another example of how external factors of the family can cause an internal change in him, causing him to limit his drinking. Personality traits are learned, in my opinion, as we learn in biology. Certain physical traits, such as eye color, hair color, are inherited through your parents. I believe that through learned experience, our behavior or our personality traits will develop. This idea is supported by the learning theory, as talked about earlier. I grew up in a family that found humor in most things. As a result, now I tend to be the friend that tries to lighten up the mood. My environment and everyone in my family stress the importance of hard work, and as a result, now I'm incredibly a hardworking person. There are some personality types that can be distinguished by behavior. For instance, I have always been labeled an introvert based on how I behave, which is quiet, shy, and passive. My brother has always been labeled an extrovert based on how he behaves, which is social, outgoing, and friendly. But he is not always social, outgoing, and friendly, and I am not always shy, passive, or quiet, supporting the idea that this is not always an accurate depiction. Human beings are complex beings that go through many different changes throughout the course of their life. The idea of someone being good or bad is a complex issue, and I truly believe no one is more good or bad, and it depends on their overall development when they are younger. For instance, the learning theory posits the idea that we learn from our environment. So if we are exposed to a certain behavior early on, we could mirror that behavior because we witnessed it. So if someone is exposed to a negative environment or a negative behavior, this person could start mirroring this behavior. For instance, I knew someone who was exposed to domestic violence. Her dad used to hit her mom. She asked her mom why her dad hit her. She said it was because he loves me. So she went over to her classmate's house and she hit her friend because she thought that's what she had to do to show that she cared. In this situation, in this example, shows that she was mirroring her environment based on what she saw, because she thought it was okay because her mom did it, and she saw her dad hitting her mom, so she thought it was fine. In this environment, she could have the potential to grow up and become an abuser, but she was eventually told that this wasn't the right thing to do, and she was able to correct those maladaptive behavior traits, which is something that the behavior theory, or the learning theory, also posits as well. I believe human beings are controlled, such as by the news, the media, and the rules. We have a set of laws we are supposed to follow, or we can potentially get arrested. I find myself doing things that would avoid me breaking one of these rules, such as following the speed limit. Additionally, during COVID-19, we heard stuff on the news about how dangerous the virus was, and we were all scared to go outside. The information released by the media during this time influenced behavior. In other words, controlled how we behaved. Thank you for listening and watching.